Alright, hello and welcome back to Ashgabat Cat's Let's Play That. Today we're taking a look at 1943. And I will start this version of 1943 by saying, like I always do, hey wait a minute, haven't I played this before? As it turns out, I am not just a little bit crazy, but I checked my archives and in fact it was 1943 that I had played in Ashgabat Cat Season 2. 1942, I'm pretty sure I played in real life, in well, I was going to say arcade, but it was more like a small janitorial closet at a bar that happened to have 3 to 4 video games inside of it. Well, for a brief period in time, they had 1942. So I played that in real life. 1943, I played on this channel before, but don't tell YouTube, because if you play the same game twice, then YouTube doesn't promote it nearly as much. Don't ask how I know that. And now, today, we'll be playing 1943. Score mode, of course. Yeah, if nothing else, at least we can change it up and play score mode. Last time, I credit feeded the whole way through. In fact, oh well, even this is pleasingly powerful. So this is just your regular shot, but your shots just feel so fast. Although, going to auto fire, you get a fair amount of shots out here. Okay, I have changed my mind. So let's check out the controls. So, okay, to have you at shoot, rapid fire, I don't know what a mega crash is, but I feel like we're going to find out in the next few minutes. And an aerial loop, I can imagine. So, let's set rapid fire to regular, mega crash to that, aerial loop to that, and then regular shoot. I don't know, we could leave it as that. That's fine. All right. And so, I don't know, I just, come on, game. I just find it nice to have, like, your bomb just real close to your shoot button, so that way if you're ever in any sort of danger, you can go, wham! That was entirely too brief for something that I probably only have a limited number of. I can't even see where it says that on my screen. Wow. I mean, I thought 1942, like, took its time with enemies trying to attack you, but this game, it's like the enemies aren't even really here. Is it the R's in the middle of the screen, or are those aerial loops? Oh, speaking of aerial loops, you can't move up and down, but you can at least move side to side. Well, you could always move side to side. That's not actually anything new. And so, yeah, they changed it up where now you can shoot POWs, and you can get, ooh. Oh, those are bad guys. Okay, I was thinking 1942 rules where it's like, okay, you made it far enough, time to dock on an airplane, but no, and get your massive score bonus. But no, it's time for an enemy ship, time to go mano a mano with a battleship. This is, if you can't tell at home, a very bad idea. Do not go mano a mano against any sort of battleships. I mean, unless you're like a battle human. Because again, battleships, it's got battle in the name. You know it's going to be serious about battling. So, yeah. Welcome to the extra danger zones. I also like how Capcom, they gave you a health bar, but then they also made it deplete over time. Maybe it depletes as you shoot? I highly doubt that's true. Oh, and does this count as a boss? Is this a modern day video game? Ooh, that's... Oh, and I just took a hit and didn't die. Well, I lost my 3-away, which means I basically cannot touch that battleship, although I guess it was always kind of a little bit surprising that me, as a gun, or as a gun, yes, as a flying gun, that's what me as, like, an airplane, shooting my machine guns, that I was able to, shoot a ship in the first place. But whatever. I also like how the aircraft carrier is, like, super tilted. And I mean, on one hand, like, that might not be... that's probably not the normal way of things, but on the other hand, like, oceans are pretty wild. I mean, I don't know if you've seen oceans back in the day and, like, some of the pics of those ships, but it's like, I'm beginning to think that, yeah, they might have just gone sideways every now and again, and it's just... That was the reality of life, and it's like, that's just what you put up with. At least, just so long as it doesn't go all the way over. Oh man, enemies behind me, I'm getting a little antsy. Oh, I have quote-unquote upgraded to missiles. Yay. Game, give me back my power weapon. I swear to God, Capcom, if you keep doing this nonsense... I already had a machine gun. This is a different machine gun, but it seems sort of inferior. Oh, it's called Auto. Oh yeah, I remember last time, and by remember I mean I rewatched recently and saw, the guns seem to have timers. Oh, what the heck? Did you see that guy come in from the background? I mean, yeah, okay, whatever. He came in from the background, nothing special. But you know what was special? He came in from below first. He didn't just, like, cheap run into you and kill you. He was, like, cool about it. And it's like, wow, Capcom, what are you doing? Did you learn your lesson somewhere between, like, Tatakai no Banka, Legendary Wings, and then, Bionic Commando? Or, as I like to call it, the credit vacuum? That people, they may like hard games, but they don't like games that just basically mug them for their quarters. It's like, hey kid, you got some coin-based monetary currency? Well, not anymore, kid, it's all mine. I just picked up a barrel. I just like flew over a barrel, saw it, and decided, this is probably not an issue. I will pick up this barrel. And I didn't die. I didn't take any sort of damage, but if you think about it, that could have ended very poorly for me. And here we go, caught in our lives against a dogfight against an aircraft carrier. That is a lot of anti-aircraft fire. Why? Why are we doing this way? You'd think I'd at least have a squadron or something, but no. I guess you have to wait till 1944 for a air squadron. And I survived. I think the aircraft carrier did too, but that's neither here nor... Oh, look! See? Even... Taco... 95% destroyed. Hey, that rounds up to 100, right? I love that ludonarrative dissonance. It's like, yeah, I didn't see the aircraft carrier destroyed. All I did was shoot its guns, but hey, whatever. It was on fire in the cutscene. That means I beat it, right? Yeah, sure, whatever, kid. Alright, and now we're on to the next level. I will say, this game is doing a much better job of, well, not necessarily distinguishing the different levels, at least pretending, well, at least punctuating them if nothing else. Like, I may not know what the difference between level 1 and level 2 is, not even on a visual level, but I can at least tell when level 1 ended and it's time for level 2. So even my beloved 3-way is on a 20-second timer. That just doesn't seem fair, does it? I mean, the game just gives you this, like, brief taste of ultimate power. Of course, well, I mean, yeah, you might counter in 1942, they let you have the sort of quote-unquote wide shot, although it was more like, well, that game's wide shot is like this game's regular shot. That's neither here nor there. But, the other thing was, the other game didn't really let you have auto-fire. And, like, yeah, you can turn on auto-fire in the collection, but it's not going to do you all that much good. Wow. Wow. This screen went from, like, empty to, like, completely full of enemy fighters within the span of, like, a second. That is impressive. I also like how, yeah, I have not gotten hit. I'm doing my best about that. I feel like I've been doing pretty well about that, but nope. Somehow my health is already half gone. Capcom giveth and Capcom taketh away. Well, they're not going to take away my play. Holy cow, what the heck? Did you see that? Because I sure saw that. I could do nothing but see that. The entire screen was filled with, and it's time to use our bombs. And it's time to use our... Oh, bombs use my health. Well, I was wondering... Continue. I can't, though. Wow, what a day to realize I probably should have been playing regular mode the whole time. I was having a lot of fun. That was... What? It's not too often that I lose myself on one of these arcade games, and usually when I do, it is almost always a shoot-'em-up. But so far in this collection, I have played multiple shoot-'em-ups, and I have not lost myself in the game, just surrendering myself to like this weird commentatory bliss? Maybe Nirvana. Maybe Zen. But either way, it's been a while since I've like completely lost myself in a Capcom game. And by a while, I mean, I think this is the first time it's happened on this collection. So nice. Hats off to you, Capcom. Hats off to you. You may not have a lot of good game franchises. What? Do I even fact check the things I say sometimes? Capcom doesn't have a lot of good video game franchises. Not like Mega Man, 1940X, Street Fighter, the other one, Rival Schools. Just kidding. That's not a good game. Well, how would you know? Nobody's ever played that game. Capcom Versus series. Stop me if you've heard any of these before. Holy cow. Dang. I mean, this game, it just kind of goes down smooth. And like, well, it's weird to play this as like a score game because honestly, it seems a little slow. Although again, maybe that's just the joy of playing this game for the first time. This semi-decade at least. Oh no, I think I checked. It hasn't been 5 years since I played it yet. It's probably just a matter of days at this point until Ashgabat Cat Season 2 was 5 years ago. Tune in for Ashgabat Cat Season 4 next decade. But anyway, yeah, it's just a nice tune-in game. You just kind of zone in, zone out, and you play the game. Now, it goes by a little slow, I'd say, and like it is a little weird to like play this game for score because it doesn't seem like good play will let you play indefinitely. It seems like, well, I guess it doesn't cue to the normal rules of safe play, because like normal rules of safe play in an arcade, I mean, you put in your credit and you try to make that life last as long as possible. The game tries to do the exact opposite, but it seems like this game, it'll basically extract a toll off you anyway. I think, yeah, okay, so top of the screen, you get so many loop-de-loops, and they probably don't fully replenish them at each level. Although maybe they do. But then, yeah, you want to use the quote-unquote Mega Crash. Well, you are going to be paying in life points for that, and let me tell you, life points don't come cheap. Although, I guess they refill them every level. But still. Also, I feel like I got an extension, but, well, that's neither here nor there. Wow. I just can't believe we went from Bionic Commando, which was like the epitome of credit vacuuming, to like this game, which is just like, basically you get a play for like 2 minutes unhassled. And it's like Capcom doesn't even like come a knocking, and they're like, hey kid, how many quarters do you have in your wallet? They're just kind of like, hey, are you enjoying our game? You are? That's great. We have no ulterior motives in contacting you about this. And it's nice. For like a brief period in time, oh, I guess your loop loops do replenish. And for a brief period in time, I do kind of believe them. It's also kind of weird because as far as like skill games go, it's not even like that hard per se. I mean, well, okay. You get kind of stuck at the top of the screen and it's like, well, may the game save you because nothing else is going to. Or may your reflexes save you because nothing else is going to. But otherwise, I mean, you're pretty much safe. And especially like these sort of 1940X games, like you just kind of hang out 1/3 down the screen and you were like sort of invincible. You're ready to move out of the way and attack with anything, or counterattack anything that comes your way. And yet, well, I don't know, it's just a game that's like, it's very clear about how you play it, and if you play it right, then it's totally fine with that. It is completely fine with letting you advance. Strange game, that. Actually, yeah, I mean, earlier I was talking about going mano-a-mano with these battleships, and yet here I am doing more or less precisely that. I mean, yeah, sure, you need to have a three-way or something to, like, pose any sort of hope against these guys, but if you do, and the game is more than willing to give you some, then it's not so bad. Look at this, I'm just kind of like strafing side to side. I feel like a real-life airplane. It's like, I don't know what it was like to fight in World War II, you know, not having been born anywhere near that time frame, and yet I'd like to imagine it was at least a little bit like this game. You just kind of get in the zone, try to dodge all the anti-aircraft fire, and you try to shoot all the gunships. Yep, exactly like that. 100% historical accuracy. But still, maybe if you don't actually get like the specifics of it, maybe you could at least kind of get the feeling of it, because it's like Here the game is, like, it's just a sea of fire. A land of death. You know, it gave me 3,000 Caspo, right? And usually it only gives me that much Caspo if I've made it a significant way through the game. So that does kind of make me wonder how much more of the game there is. Like, are there only 5 levels in this game? Is this like the original 1942 that had like a lol-tastic 30 levels, I think? It was something silly like 32 levels, which, I mean, makes sense on the NES version where it's like you as a kid. I mean, not only do you have all of Saturday, you have like all of the rest of the weekend too, because you are a kid, and homework. What is that? Bills, responsibilities? Yeah, right. Well, I hope you as a kid did not have bills and or responsibilities. If you did, then, well, at least it is widely acknowledged that such things are unfortunate. But that being said, you've got the whole weekend, and you've got this game fired up. Well, not this game, 1942, and you just want to like make it to the end. But then you get this game, and it's like, I don't know, are your feelings and motivations a little different? Like, at this point in time, do you just want like a bunch of fancy graphics that last for like half an hour, and then you can go home to your I don't know, Super Nintendo and play all your other Capcom games at home? Huh. Well, versus 1942, when it's like, I don't know, you just want to steal as much game from it as possible. Because it is one of those things, because it's like, 1942 is hard. Oh my gosh, did you see that? I got hit and like half of my health just went gonzo. Now here I had been wondering if like I had been doing very well about like dodging things, but man, when you see getting hit by one of those big guys takes out half your health, then it's like, yeah, I'm pretty sure I was not getting hit by anything bad. Oh, oof. Now's about the time when, oh, how nice. I love how the Capcom collection reminds you what your insert coin button is. Wait a minute, a Yako? Does that imply that like our boss was that giant bomber? I thought we were shooting ships. Man, this game, they're really distinguishing things. What's the end going to be? Like, do we fight a super tank, or are they just like, nope, back to ships? Defensive targets, Fuso. Okay, so it's gonna be a battleship again. That's right. Everything I know about World War II warships, I learned from Azure Lane. But anyway, so yeah. Although I swear, 1944, maybe it was 19XX, the Loot Master, or maybe it was 1944, the Loot Master. They all kind of blur together, and yet they kind of don't. It's weird, because in thinking about them, I can't really mentally distinguish them, because they all kind of share a lot of visual similarities, but if I was actually playing them, like, I'd be able to immediately distinguish one version from another. Well, I mean, you say, like, you might say that sounds absurd. It's like, well, I can always distinguish one game's gameplay from another, but it's like, well, I challenge you with this, Monster Hunter. So, okay, any Monster Hunter pre-world, and it's like, each one of them kind of has the same sort of feel. I mean, you could tell in, like, 4... they were starting to relax things. They were starting to add like these quality of life improvements, and they weren't just like making it like exceptionally, not difficult, but just like kind of fudsy on purpose. But even still, like, you still did the exact same things. And even post-world, it's like, well, you still fight monsters. You still fight the same monsters, in fact. And it's like, after a while, that game kind of gameplay-wise, it really is kind of the same. And also the Mega Man games. I mean, like, gameplay, like, in terms of the actual enemies you fight, it's like, yeah, okay, each game is technically different, but there aren't a lot of mechanical differences gameplay to game, or game to game, and especially too because they all came out on the same system, roughly the same time period, and so they all do kind of look very, very similar. Whereas you look at the 1942 games so far, and it's like each one is just completely different. Actually, it's kind of strange if you think about it. Each of these 1940 whatever games kind of represent the general will of the arcades at that point in time, because you have the first one that came out in like what, 40... whoa 1980, man, 1980. But 1980, I don't know, 4, where like essentially the will of the arcade there that I was talking about was pretty much color graphics had just been invented. That's an obvious exaggeration, and yet not quite. It wasn't so much the color graphics were just invented, but now suddenly everybody could have color. It wasn't like you had to set every game in space because you just could not render a background other than black. Now you could like color in the background and give the game a bit more theme. Now, of course, maybe this made more sense in a game like Terra Cresta, where they like kind of had you explore this sort of cool like land sea area, and you even got to fight laser dinosaurs. And it wasn't so much in like 1942, which, I mean, yeah, they didn't put you in front of the eerie blackness of space, but they only went one step better and put you over the overwhelming blueness of the ocean. But still, even that ocean kind of has some texture, and you don't have to rely solely on the CRT for texture on that ocean. Although, I will admit, having these CRT filters and stuff, it really does kind of help add a little bit more texture to those sorts of things. But then you look at this game, and it's like, now all of a sudden, not only, well, I say all of a sudden, but not only can you have like a color background, but you can even like add texture yourself. You don't have to worry about you don't have to rely solely on like a CRT to kind of blur things and add texture in and of itself. Oh, does it want me to do like a certain amount of damage to Fuso before moving on, or are we just like reenacting Groundhog's Day? Like, what's the deal here? Give me that cutscene where it's on fire. Yeah, sure, that's a battleship. Round 4 cleared. Hey! Oh wow, they really have been increasing the life bar the whole time. I kind of like that. Capcom pretending that... Ooh, Akagi. Finally. Wait, didn't Akagi sink? Like wasn't the whole point about Akagi that she was like taken before her time? Like, she wasn't even finished, she was like already sunk beforehand? Or maybe she was sunk because of Washington Naval Treaty reasons. I don't... I mean, Japan had a lot of battleships. Not gonna lie, they had a lot of battleships. They did not have quite so many aircraft carriers, especially not after Midway. But they had quite a lot of battleships. My favorite being, I don't know why I'm remembering them in the opposite order, but the Musashi and the Yamato, where they even had so many battleships, they had secret Omega battleships. Who does that? Who makes a secret Omega battleship? Keeps it a painstaking secret from the enemy, but to such an extent that they refuse to use it in any sort of campaign. Now, to be fair, they were running low on oil, and something about the greatest or the biggest battleship ever created did not jive with that fact, but still. They made this giant secret battleship, but all it could be done was used as like... They essentially beached it and used it as like a giant turret, and it's just like, you guys. I may not be a military genius, tactician, general, or any other such things, at least not outside the realm of video games, but even I can tell you it's like, something might be wrong here. Just my personal suspicion. Oh, I wonder if the barrels are supposed to be a callback to Pirate Ship Higemaru. Game that apparently only I appreciate. Especially if you look at the high scores, it's like, nice, I'm in the top hundreds. Does that mean I'm good? Or does that mean nobody else gives a hoot about this video game? Oh wait, no, Kagi seems to be very aircraft carrier-y here, which I don't remember this, but also I don't remember much from 1942, or 1943, or 1940 whenever, honestly. Oh, nice. That is a lot of ships. And unfortunately, if I take time to do a loop-de-loop, then I lose time to shoot stuff. You know what? 90% is still an A. Let's move on with our lives. You get the same cutscene at the end, no matter how much you destroy it. I don't think that's actually true. I'm pretty sure there's like a minimum destruction rating. I kind of suspect if you get less than 80%, then it's not going to give you cutscene. This game... Oh, they didn't give me all the life yet. Offensive target. Die hear you. What? I mean, so I know the aircraft carrier hear you, but like the second hear you? What? Are we entering the realm of historical fiction where like now Hiryu was resurrected as like a big, greater battleship, and now we need to beat them or something? I mean, we're not fighting Hiryu meta here. At least I don't think so. This game. I'm also starting to wonder, like, how much longer is this game going to be? I mean, it's not like I have anywhere to go per se, but I mean, I've got a weekend here, but I don't want to spend the entire time playing 1943. Like this game is fun, but if we're talking like 30 levels worth of fun here, then, well, I don't think we'll be talking that very long, because I'm not going to do that. 30 levels. That's a lot of levels. Jeez, can you imagine how long it took to beat 1942 back in the arcade? But of course, that one, like, I don't know, it felt difficult, but it felt kind of, fair difficult. And so, oh, the flat gun does take out enemy shots. That's handy. But unfortunately, it also has low range, which is not handy at all, so that means you have to, like, get up close and personal if you want to actually take out the enemy. You know, it's kind of interesting, like, thinking about this sort of weapon system, because you just know they looked at the original, give me the gun! Yes! Yes! Power up is mine. But you just know they, oh, that's kind of interesting how, like, everything is so spread out, and that's mean game. Oh, cool, it looks like they can also take multiple hits, these little wing buddies. That's mean game. That's mean. But, like, they just went back to 1942 and realized that the best parts of it were when you got a bunch of power-ups. Even though none of the power-ups were, like, all that good. Just, like, there's a palpable sense that, like, the power-ups are good for you. Like, you see the thing called POW, and it's like, I never once have I ever looked at the words POW and thought, that is something I shouldn't get. I guess Daihiryu was a giant bomber. Sure. But it's like, you look at the original game and you see these POW, and it's like, I want to collect that. I need to collect that. I live to collect that. That is now my purpose in life. Issei. Okay, back to battleships, I guess. Well, I guess technically Issei was one of those weird cases where it's like half battleship, half aircraft carrier. So, who's even to say at this point? But, yeah, so, I don't know, it's kind of funny, because it's like, on one hand, like, you pick up the power-ups, and it's like, well, you just know that picking up the power-ups is good. Like, this is something you have to do, you feel strangely compelled to do, and yet, if you think about it, none of the power-ups were, like, that great. I mean, yeah, there was the wide shot that, like, made your shots a little wider, which, I mean, granted, it was something you always wanted to have on your persons at all point in time, but at the same time, if you didn't get it, like, it's not like you're gonna go home crying. And then, well, there were, like, the wing buddies or whatever that, like, tripled your firepower. Now that is amazingly useful, but like all things based on Galaga's superpowers, something that's all too easy to... Not today, folks. I remember the controls. But it's something that's all too easy to lose, so in a certain sense... Oh my gosh. Are you seeing this? Like, come on, man. They, like, completely encircled... That was a berry. That was a berry. What is Pac-Man? Give me the thing. But it's like they just completely encircled me. And it's like we have just lost all semblance of fairness at this point. And the game is just like, dude, you've been playing for like 10 minutes now. I would prefer if you either gave somebody else a chance or re-upped. And I'm like, nope, not today, pal. Too good for your blood. Or something. Also... I don't usually... Oh, that's nice. That's cute. She just launched all of her ships. All, like, 6 of them. All of her aircraft. Well, to be fair, that is more aircraft than... Oh my god, now I just have to survive. The hardest part. Although, to be fair, launching all 6 of her ships, or planes, it's like, that is more than any of the other aircraft carriers have launched at me. Okay, easy, easy. Well, the bullet patterns are a little, I won't say juvenile, but they are a little simplistic. I mean, they essentially only track you, which makes it all too easy to just kind of like, just a little tap dodge, move, move, move. Is that a success? Initial attack unsuccessful. See, it's just like school. You don't get a high enough %, you fail, and you got to do it all over again. At least this time it's not going to take a year. Alright, ship. Let's get back in the game. Wow, so not only do you have to do damage, but you also have to, like, not die. Or, as I like to call it, get anti-damage. No, that's just damage just on you. Huh. Okay. I don't know how much damage we need to do here. Oh, I see. You can actually even visually tell that they're just lame little seaplanes. Wow. And here I was running my mouth something like, oh yeah, you just gotta hang out third way down the screen and it'll be great. You're invincible. Wow. Has this game got a countermeasure for you? Okay. Although it keeps launching ships at me, so that means I can't even do enough damage. What is this nonsense? Wow, I can't even loop around. Like, the game just will not let me do it. Is damage cumulative, or do you have to do like a certain amount of damage each time? Guess we're gonna find out. Mission aborted. 65% destroyed. Well, at least that's not a smaller percent than it was before. But man. Oh, round 7 cleared, I guess. They're like, yeah, you didn't really destroy it, but I mean, I'm kind of tired of you, so hey, next stage. And it's like, great, hear you. Now we're finally unambiguously against an aircraft carrier. But unfortunately, I do know enough about history and about the Battle of Midway to know that, like, we're like, what, two aircraft carriers in, and there were like, what, 4 of them? And we are going to just have to take all of them, huh? So let's see, currently Soryu and Akagi are next, so that's a lot. And apparently there's probably more than a few more fictional bombers to like fill in the blanks. And also a fair more battleships. Man, if World War II was this laborious, I can't even imagine waging that battle. Yeah, I'm kind of out of words at this point. This game won. I think I will just, yeah, let's see what the next level is, if there's any sort of like refuge. But I think after this point, it's like, dang, Capcom. I know you wanted to give people more time on their credits, but geez, you just gave me like 3 lifetimes. I feel like I've seen my life flash. Not flash before my eyes, but I feel like I've lived enough of a life that, like, it doesn't even matter. Actually, that's weird. I mean, okay, other than the borderline jets coming at me, this level seems strangely easy. And also, too, like, here I am with the crazy rocket the entire time, and it has turned out to not be such a terrible choice as it seemingly once was. And like the other one, it was just an entire screen filled with bullets, and like there was nothing at all I could have done. But here, well, no, it's still bullets. It's bullets everywhere. Was that enough damage to pass? Please let me pass this game. Please let me pass this grade game. Like, I studied real hard. Initial attack unsuccessful. 67%. Did you see the midway through? It's like there were just more bullets than like bullets I've shot in the game at all total. Like, there was not anything I could have done about that. Continue. I don't know, man. I don't know. Because like, it's not getting any more fair. This game is just going to throw everything it has against you, especially everything bullet-wise. Plus, I can only imagine it's already been like half an hour anyway. Ooh. Name entry screen. Okay. So it resets back to the beginning each time, which, I mean, I'm not like a super fan of, but honestly, I've seen enough bad name entry screens that I can appreciate a workmanlike name entry screen. Name entry screen that is fully committed to you entering your name. So that was 1943. The Battle of Midway. What a difference 5 years makes. Although I feel like my impressions are essentially identical. Man, that was a long time. and I didn't even beat it, but it certainly feels like I'm done with it. Yeah, okay, looking at the timer, 35 minutes. Oh, that's right, I've got a timer now. I don't have to just guesstimate. It's like, oh, it's been about 40 minutes, and it's like, turns out it's been 11. But still, 35 minutes. And of that, probably, I don't know, 10 minutes was, or not 10, maybe 5 or 6 was like that first run. So, yeah, that's been a fair amount of time. This game sure gave me a lot of game for my money. Like, I put in, like, I don't know, 5 credits max or something? Maybe 6 or 7, but basically less than a week's worth of allowance, and I sure got a week's worth of arcade game out of it. But, I don't know that I necessarily wanted that. Well, I don't know, because on one hand, I'm tempted to say something like, oh yeah, Capcom, well, you shouldn't have an arcade series where it's just credit feeding to get to the end. But at the same time, like, I don't know, not every arcade game series has to be like that, and sometimes you just need a semi-easy, happy, fun, make everything explode series, and I guess 1940 whatever is that series. You want, like, intense, deep, rich gameplay. You gotta play Street Fighter or something, and play over and over until you can beat every other kid at your arcade. Or, I don't know, Pirate Ship Higemaru or Pac-Man or something. But you just want to play around, make some things explode, basically make the arcade your second home, not have to go home at all. Well, 1940 whatever seems to be your bag. And you know what? That's fine. That's fine. It kind of reminds me of the good old days in the arcades when they had games like this, and it wasn't like nowadays where it's like the only arcade-like shmups there are nowadays are bullet hell shmups, which, I mean, don't get me wrong, bullet hell shmups are great. But the other thing is, they pretty much enforce a certain way of playing, and that is, like, super serious. You have to, like, study, you have to, like, play over and over, and like, the only way you've actually beaten the game is if you one credit clear it, and anything else is insufficient in life. But then you play a game like this, and it's like, well, you can play to the end, you can play to not, you play wherever, and it's like you're gonna get more or less the same experience the whole way through. I mean, okay, maybe I'm talking like a total rube who's never even made it to the end, much less tried to get a one credit clear in 1943, but I don't know. Just somehow I know in my heart there's not really any more to the game than what I've seen. It's not like incredibly engaging, but at the same time it does go down pretty smooth. If I had like 20 minutes to kill and I just needed to, I don't know, shoot some things, turn off my brain, shoot some jets, move on with my life, yeah, this game would be waiting in the wings. Well, different games for different times, but there's only one time it could be now, that is the end time. So on that note, this cat's got a scat.